شعر الجسم وكيف كمان فينا نشوف موضوع شعر الجسم بشكل من ناحية سياسية وخاصة الموضوع أكثر موجه للنساء والأشخاص اللي ذو الجندر منه نمطي أو ترانس كمان لأنه شعر الجسم بياخد معنى شوي تاني بالمجتمع.
Hello, my name is Naya. I'm a volunteer with the A Project.
Thanks.
Yay! And I have a lot of hair on my body. As an Arab woman, I think that's what happens usually. As like a dark-haired person, also I've had a lot of trouble dealing with it in my teenage years, and now I'm better. I'm very interested to hearing about like other stories and sharing mine and like maybe having other women relate to like just women relating to each other to these problems that we don't really talk about usually. Preferred pronouns she, her, hers.
Hi, my name is Rhea. I'm not a member of NAMU, but I'm a good friend of Rilla, which is why I'm here a lot. So I didn't know this was happening, but I think this is an interesting topic, and I think this is a good idea. So I'm just interested in seeing what happens here, you know, and what the discussion is going to be.
Hi, I'm Noura. Okay, I guess I'm here because I can't decide if I should wax my mustache or not after doing that. So yeah, hopefully this answers some questions.
I'm Mireya. They learn in English, she in other languages. I don't have that distinction. Coming from the US, all the discourse around body hair is always centered on white women who have a lot less body hair than, say, someone like me. I'm Mexican, so it's very different conversation. So this is kind of a really new and interesting space for me.
Sure. My name is Sadia. I'm visiting, so I hope I'm not taking up space. I'm a feminist from Pakistan, and I heard that this discussion was about body hair. Hair has been really political for me, although I didn't realize it until a much later age. Body hair specifically because being South Asian, there's a social pressure to constantly be clean and not have hair showing in certain places, and if you do, then you don't fit into the norms of what femininity is and all that. So now I actually grow my arm hair and my armpit hair and don't give a fuck about that, so we can talk about that.
topic شوي سبيشال عندي لأنه كتير بقضي وقت بالشيفينج و يعني بيتعب كتير فعبالي اسمع شوي أفكار يعني.
So my name is Rula. I also work at the A Project, مشروع الألف. Preferred pronoun is she, her, hers. All of us is hers. And I think I'm interested in talking about body hair from an angle of كمان إنه rituals. So أنا عندي كتير, I have mixed feelings about body hair, and I guess I want to kind of see if other people have that. Like for me, it was a lot of ritualing with my mother and my sister. So no, okay, on the premises of something that I know is like, you know, and pushing femininities in the way that it's supposed to look like. But at the same time, I have really nice memories growing up of like me and my sister like figuring out how to do that together and stuff like this. So we used to talk a lot during. So it was just something to do as a ritual. So ما بعرف. I like the concept of subverting these things sometimes and discussing them in a different way. So I want to see if other people have also positive experiences with kind of removing body hair from bonding with other women. So that's I'm curious about.
Hello, name's Serena. Body hair. Wow, I have like so much to say. Like I remember when my mom took me to my first waxing experience. I was like 8 or 9. it was so painful, and like I hated it, and I was like, why am I doing this? Only because my mom told me that I am dirty because I have hair on my body. Yet hair is so, it comes in the body. How can you deem it as dirty? I would like to talk about like, you know, experiences and this feeling of shame that shouldn't be there but is.
I think there are a lot of topics on the table, and there's one more person at the door. But I'll a few things came up. So cleanliness is one, hygiene is another. Your first time, I guess. So maybe we can kind of maybe start from first times, because that's even if there isn't a first time, then that's really interesting. I'd like to know how that happens. وأنه feeling exposed وshame وهيك. So maybe we can start with first times and experiences of having to remove body hairs.
Okay, so I had 2 first times. My first time, I was 12 and I was living in, and it was themed like beach party in Montreal. Okay, so like it was winter, but we wanted to do a beach party inside the school. So, so my mom we prepared together what I was gonna wear. I had like big baggy pants and like something. I don't know. It was anyway. I had something quite. I would say conservative to wear at the beach, and so I went, and my friend there was super shocked that this is what I was wearing. So she took me to her house and she gave me heels and she gave me a mini skirt. I had never shaved my leg, and so she shaved my legs, and it was like a secret that I had to keep from my mom, because my mom was like, "There's no way in hell that you're too young to do this." So that was like the first time was like super exciting, and I'm shaving my legs and wearing a mini skirt, and like I had to hide that from my mom. Then my mom found out, and it was a lot of shame that I had to hide this from. I don't know. It was really weird. And then the real first time was like when it was my mom's idea. When I was 14, and she used the silke peel on my never my hair was still baby hair. It was 2 years later, so it became baby hair again, and I had never felt that kind of pain. And we did it at home, and it was the most horrible thing ever. It was so painful. And she did the first leg, and I wanted to stop. And then she was and she pressured me so much into doing the second leg, because you can't be with just one leg like that. And it was really, really horrible. So now when I think about it, the difference of reactions between just because I was 12 the first time and 14 the second time, what changed? Once I wanted to do it, the second time I didn't want to do it, and it was the opposite for her. I still don't I'm not sure I understand why there was so much pressure on me to not do it and then to do it from the same person, just 2 years later.
That is very confusing.
Yeah.
Did you just start showing off one leg though?
I did the second one.
You did the second one?
Yeah, she pressured me into doing it, so I did it. Yeah.
Shafra or?
No, with the machine, it was so painful. Anyway, that's my first time.
And the same thing happened with my mom about there being an age before which it's too early, and then an age after which it's time. And at first I wanted to shave. I don't remember the ages exactly. It was maybe I was 13. She kept on telling me, لا بعدك صغيرة ما مبين شيء ما بعرف شو. And then 1 or 2 years later, and I can do it.
It is time.
it's done. Exactly. But she did it. It was funny actually because she did it with سكر. And you know إذا بيعرق إيديك السكر ما بيزبط. فأنا كانوا عم بيعرقوا إيديا all the time. It's terrible وعلق everywhere. كارثة. But then it happened. So I shaved like up till my knees. And then I started using silky peel.
You think she was nervous? And then she's probably never done it with somebody else.
She was nervous. It's very funny. Like I remember this and I laugh every time. everywhere.
I wonder if the difference in age has to do with when we sexualize girls. Because 12 is kind of too young, but then 14 you start kind of getting objectified like that, and then 16 I feel like you become more of a sexual object for men, then you have to start shaving.
For my mom, it was when I got my periods, because I remember before I got my periods pretty late, like I was 13 and a half, almost 14. And before that, the hair on my arms and legs had started growing a lot, and so in my class, like all the girls had gotten waxed or shaved or something, and I always felt really conscious, and like we had like these scarves in school, so I remember like, you know, trying to hide my hair, physically feeling uncomfortable. But when I got my periods, my mom was like, okay, now you can go, let's take you to the parlor.
Right.
Yeah.
I had the same thing with my arms hair before, like my mom let me remove my. That was much later. She accepted the leg. She wanted me to remove my leg hair, but my arm hair was much later before she accepted. And I was always with my arms, which is very weird. Like, why do we hide our arms? I don't know if that's something. Like in the US, is it weird to remove your arm hair?
I think it is for white women.
Yeah, white women, but like in my family, we never did it. But other like Mexican girls, they would, and like they would shave it because it was considered dirty. I don't know why.
I don't know if I can remember completely a first time. I remember though that before there were all the. I think it was that we had a tricky situation where my aunt has a beauty parlor. Yeah, we're fucked. We're fucked quite early on. And so we were you know the first to tread into the eyebrows. And the eyebrows for me, like I was like, what happened? And I felt like it changed my face. I don't know if any of this happened to you guys. When you remove your eyebrows, I'm like, I look like a different person. It's so weird. And then for a while, I kind of liked it, like looking like a different person. And then I'm like, I'm not sure. And I don't touch them. But I also think like they fucked my eyebrows. So you keep removing that stuff, they really go thin. And now it's good to have the bushy back, and so it's very frustrating what they've done. At least it's not tattoo. So so I'm glad we skipped that generation. Anyway, but so we got to wax our legs once, but then it wasn't like, because I think there are other mobility issues of girls kind of moving around. So we couldn't. I mean, we were very young. I say we because it was always my sister and I. So we couldn't really just grab a cab or go or just walk into the street because they were very worried about girls walking out لحالهم like it. I remember then I discovered the tweezers, and so I used to do everything by tweezers, like it was kind of tantric almost, like it was like it was like, you know, like people who like they comb like sand. It was the same لا عن جد, because it was a very peaceful process. I'm like, yeah, you know, like I'd have a conversation and just tweeze, because the thing that for me was the big conversation at home was never shave, like this is like don't shave. Like it was so bad. It was so bad that I was like, I shaved once my arms, and then that was the last time really that happened, because I was terrified. Because my mom kept saying, "Khalas, they'll come back. They'll be hard. They will, you know, then nobody will be able to touch your." I mean, I shave my legs all the time now, so that's actually true, by the way. Fun fact: shaving does make them hard. But no, because no one has time to tweeze. You get, you know.
No one does that.
Yeah.
And it's also painful.
No, that's my story.
thinking about that, one of the bonding activities between my mom and I, she hates shaving. So when I'm home for the holidays, she sits and then she puts her legs on me and she makes me pluck her leg hair. She really enjoys it. It's disgusting.
That's why is it disgusting?
I don't want to pluck my mom's leg hair, you know?
Hey, okay. Hey, I'm not, if you say it like this. So you asked a question about, is it maybe about sexualizing? So is it, when girls grow up, do we feel answer? No?
Hey, even like the topic of like being presentable, you know? And that's what my mom always used to say, you need to be presentable, you need to be clean. But yeah, like, I don't know, I'm at a loss of words because this topic has been through my head for so long. It's like khalas. Like I remember actually the first time wasn't that, I just remembered when you told me. The first time was, I think I was like 7 or maybe 6. I remember my dad was living with me at the time, so he left like razors. So like I saw like like movies had like there were no hair and I had like a bit of hair, so I took razors and I shaved it in a really like hard way, so like everything was bleeding. So I came to my mom. I remember she was watching TV and I'm like, look mom, and like there's blood on my arm.
لا فيلم رعب. Am I pretty now, mama? As you drip blood.
Because I remember my dad always. I remember my dad shaving, and I'm like, I want to do this. This is so cool, like and no fun. And then I realized later on it's not that fun, but I had high hopes.
I'm thinking a lot about the not just like leg hair or arm hair, but specifically pubic hair when it's shaved, and how that is especially in porn, and to like infantilize the women and make them more consumable in a sexual way, and how like body hair a lot of the time is, I'm completely coming from a U.S. perspective, I grew up there, right? So I'm not sure how it's different, like even in Mexico. But like body hair is more shameful, like if you have a lot of it and if it's darker, and how that's different. So like colored bodies are seen more as more animalistic and more dirty, and the only way to make them acceptable and consumable in a lot of places that have been colonized is to make them more resemble a cleaner and whiter body in some way or another.
Add to that, I remember facial hair. So even though I didn't have a lot of it, I remember my aunt was getting married, and this was after I had started to get wax and stuff, and my mom said, oh, you have a lot of hair on your face, so we're gonna do something about that. And we went to the parlor, and I thought that it would either be threaded or waxed, but bleach was put on it, and it was painful because it burns, right? And after that my hair was like golden, because going with that idea of the white body and resembling, but it doesn't really work because like that you have this shining like little beard instead of. But I hated that, and I never got bleached again. That's something I thought of, but then I was thinking about your point about how women kind of bond over these things, and I remember going to the parlor, and as much as I hated even the shaming that went on in the parlor by the women who are telling, oh my god, you haven't come to me for 2 months, this. Just that space of women being together and the things they end up talking about while all of these things are going on, because they share some really intimate stuff, and even though this person's a complete stranger, they'll ask you like everything about your life while they're telling you, and you're like, but okay, I'll answer your questions. And it turns into this really intimate also experience of women just sharing. So that's a thought that came to mind.
I remember bleaching. I had like a phase, like Because my mom would bleach your face, and she would, you have to bleach your face too. I'm like, okay, so I did it. It burns.
Yeah.
It burns. Like, you know, you wait 10 minutes, and then sometimes if you put it on for too long, you get like red, and you get like, you know, a bit like allergic and like spots and pimples, just to get blonde hair. And then I remember actually, my friend who's white. I was gonna say who was white.
Sorry, very white.
She has like blonde body hair, right? And she would never shave it. And then she'd tell me, why do you shave yours? And mine's clearly like dark brown. And then like, you know, I told her, don't you realize that, you know, like my color of body hair is more stigmatized than yours. For you, it's like, you know, oh, okay, hair, I didn't shave. It's not the same. I don't know, it's not the same, I'm not gonna say repercussions, what's the word? Not the same.
Social stigma.
Yes, kind of, yeah.
And I remember my mom would make me bleach because, not even because the hair was dark, but because she thought it was clean. So apparently me bleaching would like open up my pores and then magically they would become clean.
Oh, damn.
How?
I don't know.
It's because it looks dirty.
Right.
I think more than like we think that it's actually dirty.
What is?
Hair, dark hair. It like this like I don't know if that. I wonder, do people really think it's dirty?
Hair?
Don't they know that it's actually like
I think Lebanese
Protected.
moms really think it's dirty. I don't know why.
Yeah.
or does it look like because dirt looks dark? I don't know. Like it's
I
so
don't know.
weird. Like why would you think it's actually dirty? It's here for a reason.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any rational sense, you know?
Yes, you know, I'm wondering about also what Mireille was saying about كمان shaving pubic hair. And the pubic hair is a whole different ballgame, right? It's not out to show. Everything else is on the respectability. So underarms, hands, you know, like facial hair, eyebrows, legs, toes, which was a thing at some point.
Yeah.
That was weird. What?
Still is, no?
But it's like when I know people who come to Lebanon because it's cheaper to wax here sometimes who are from the north and they come and they're like, wow, like she even did my toes. It's like, wow, they really pay attention to the details. In this country, they know where the hair grows. Which is true. They really do pay attention to the details because when I tried to get waxed anywhere in the global north, I'm like, you guys don't even know where that is. Like, what? You're missing all the good parts, but you left some. And then you hear your mama's voice. Anyway, because here they go after you with the tweezers on your way out. Man, tweezers. So anyway, so I'm wondering. So I think pubic hair is a whole different ballgame. Well, I have this issue اللي هي إنه كمان I see إنه if you shave completely your vulva إنه I can't. I find I see myself weird, I think, and I think it makes me feel very uncomfortable. ما بعرف if this is just something that people say so much that I also have bought on. So I don't know which is the two common thoughts اللي هي إنه. So obviously I don't think it's cleaner to shave it all off. But then I do think it's infantilizing to shave it all off, and I don't know if I'm seeing that because other people think it's infantilizing. So I don't want to recreate that kind of thought كمان at the same time where I'm seeing how a woman wants to shave her pubic hair through like a male gaze at the same time. So I'm very weary of it, but then it's already in there. So I do feel that way about it. So I don't shave in like completely, and I keep having this discussion with my mother and my sister. So maybe I won't have this podcast out anyway. They don't listen. So and they're like, it's cleaner, and I'm like, guys, it's weird. Like, don't you feel like 9? Like, I mean, and also that there's so much sexual, like, there's so much excitement that comes with grazing over hair on, you know, on from the outside. So hair everywhere, your hands, your pussy, like all of it. It's so nice to graze over hair because it excites you. So I feel like, then it's just, and it's like, it's nice because it keeps the humid in, so maybe that's what they mean by dirty, that it keeps things wet. Did I get too detailed? But anyway, but like, I feel like that's what I like about hair, like, it keeps it wet in the right place, and it's nice to touch, like, it increases the excitement. So maybe that's why they think it's nasty. ما بعرف. But there's a certain sensual element to hair. As much as people want to say there's disgust, I think there's definitely a sensual element, which is why all this French porn is all about, look at those French women with all that hair. You're like, why only French women?
كان visible أكتر ما يكون blonde. إنه إذا كان الشعر blonde ما رح يتأثروا إنه there's hair or there's no hair, they don't care. But if it is black رح يكون visible, ففي جرأة أكتر إنه في hair أكتر. وبلس بحس إنه بتجي من الداينامكس تبع المان وومن، لايك انه المان هو القوي اللي عنده ستيريوتايب انه في شعر، في عنده موستاش، في عنده هيك. فاذا المرأة بدها تقرب على هيدا الستيريوتايب بتكون عم تتجرأ اكثر، فما بيناسبوا بوينت انه ما تقربي على الستيريوتايب. طبعا نحن عنا الشعر، نحن عنا القوة، نحن عنا المركز. فاذا بده يكون عندك شعر يعني عم تتجرأي عم تقربي علينا، لا شيلي شعراتك.
بس بتعرفي ولا مرة شفتها هيك، بس I think it's مثل انه ليه الرجال بعصبوا انه من الليزبيانز اللي شعراتهم قصار، وانه يلي بتلبس انه ما بكونوا عم تلبس بأنوثة، بصير في انه كمان نوع من استفزاز. انه I think انه سارة is onto something، انه في نوع من انه استفزاز يلي بصير مع الرجال، بس لانه مرة بتكون انه مفكرة حالها ذكر، بكونوا هن شايفينها بس انه هي بس انه she's cutting her hair and shaving like she wants, but they think that she's trying to steal masculinity. And it's like, I think that بحسوا انه مش بس انه جرأة، بفتكر انه بحسوا انه في تهديد، انه there's a threat كمان. Which is nice. You can't touch things on face, you can't shave face because it's drama.
Shave face. But this, like
tough.
undercover.
أكيد بس try shave face in front of your mother. Let's see. لا عن جد الدراما فبوقتها I think that they had كان في conversations around my aunt had a beauty parlor electrolysis. I had to يلي هي which when they describe it to you is supposed to seem cool, but really it's kind of scary. It's like the needle goes straight into the hair and it electrocutes the core. So the conversation we just had, we wouldn't need to have because it's not coming back. And then I'm like, okay, that's creepy. But so they have to poke holes in your face, basically.
Yeah, and it actually does grow back for a lot of people.
Oh, it's good I didn't take that option.
Yeah, and it's like a horrible realization that you had to go through the pain. And then it's still here. Like I know like a few of my friends who went through that, and it's like, oh sure.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah.
But it was always so shameful to talk about. Yeah, and you know what really upsets me is I think, and if I want to think about, because a lot of us are talking about being younger, or adolescents, so what hair means to us now politically, identities, and it's a very nice place to be talking about hair. But see, the shit place to be talking about hair is, I guess, when you're really young. And I wonder, I think, we were a bit harsh on, as girls with each other on the topic, Kamena. And I really fucking hate that. Like, we used to be really harsh on, other girls who, although we were always in the same place at some point, we just didn't get caught with hair, And so, like, if a friend had to, like, she like, people go, oh, she's got a mustache, Like, I mean, as if, in that kind of, what the fuck just happened? It's really not nice, So I guess...
Yeah.
And I think that's the part that's worse because you expect it from the boys, and it's always suckier when it comes in from the girls.
It hurts more. Once it came from my best friend's mom. I was like... It was really horrible. I was like 14 or 15 and I had a mustache like everyone. And she told me, you're so pretty, like you're so beautiful, but do something about that mustache.
Oh wow.
Like, and you have this like 40-year-old woman telling you that. It was, yeah. the merit. Yeah,
Yeah,
like, okay, so I would definitely be pretty if I didn't have that mustache, but for now I'm ugly as fuck. This is what I heard. Yeah, so, and also obviously from other boys and girls from the school, hearing about my mustache, like being almost like all my teenage years were like my hand covering my mouth.
And it's fucked.
Yeah. I don't want to think about it. Now I wax my mustache. It's the thing that I can't not do. Like, I leave sometimes my leg hair and my armpit hair, like, my arm hair was like a big step for me. But my mustache, it's like the furthest thing that I can think of. You know, like, it's gonna take me a long time to get over my mustache.
That's one of the things I hate the most اللي هي إنه how إنه بيصير في نوع من إنه conditioning ل your behavior it teaches you how to laugh in a certain way إنه let's be honest إنه kids suck يعني teenagers are awful they're awful human beings they're the worst يمكن بس إنه تتعلمي كيف مثلا تقعدي. There was a time that I could only sit like this, right? Or like actually maybe I'm still doing it, you know, like I know where I have to cover or like, you know, or if you have too much gum, which used to be my thing, so you have to learn how to laugh in a way that doesn't show so much gum. It's fucked up. يعني عن جد it's the detail that nobody gives a shit about. Are you guys checking about my gums now? Swear. I have small teeth. Anyway, but for a while عن جد it's like how to, because then you catch photos and you're like, what? And then you have to go back and re-edit. It's terrible. لا عن جد my kids suck.
That's interesting because now I'm getting memories of growing up and everybody, like I didn't, until pretty recently, I didn't really care about my mustache or I never touched my eyebrows. But I got people were scared of telling me stuff about it, but like I knew they were talking about it anyways. So I did develop habits like covering my mouth or like standing a certain distance away from people to make sure that they wouldn't that it wouldn't be super visible. And I don't know why I never got too into like shaving or plugging. Now I do it as a ritual pretty much. Like it's not that like I'll go a month without doing my eyebrows or like touching my mustache, but it's kind of a ritual when I want to relax now. Like I'll sit with my tweezers and plug my individual mustache. And then they're like, how do you do that? So I guess I have a slightly different experience with that, but it's like I still have like that trauma of like don't look at me. Like I know you're not saying anything to my face, but I know you're talking about it behind my back. Nowadays, it's popular and it's good and it's attractive to have like thicker eyebrows.
I know.
Right.
I know. This was very upsetting.
But
it was bushier. And then they fucked my eyebrows. Bastards.
But like I don't get it. Like it was like remember there was this trend where the thinnest eyebrows and then tattoos and then the bushy eyebrows came back. But only because it was a trend. Growing up, I was ridiculous. Like like the unibrow, I'd like shave it all the time just or hide it, And like now it's like,
I come in.
Yeah, I still do this, and like I don't even realize it's just that like I just shave, even though I know it's fucked up, but I still do it. So I'm comfortable with myself in public, Even though I know that. Why I'm doing it, I still do it. No.
Yeah. Fuck it, Rula, you have thin eyebrows. Own it.
Okay, I don't have thin eyebrows. What do you mean I have thin eyebrows? They're a bit blonde on the edges. Do I have thin eyebrows? They're thin?
Yeah.
That thing, I go to other places, they're like your bushy eyebrows. And I'm like, I like this country. I like it. They messed them up. They were full. Anyway, it's fine. This is what
Caster or
Skitter.
Yeah, castor oil. Yeah.
And?
They grow castor oil.
Okay.
Apply them. They will come look re-emerge. But isn't the point of the conversation to be like fuck trends and that's the way that
No, but
like,
see, but there's
argument.
the fuck trends, and then there's actually the way that you want to look. And then this is, I think, the conversation that we're going around. I mean, it's not because it's in trend, I think. ما بعرف, I know, like, for example, I know, we could be discussing, مثلا, I know I like having, hairy legs, you know, and maybe it becomes trendy. Okay, it looks far, but I know,
Maybe it'll become trendy to have a mustache. Oh my god.
But then yours won't come back because
They
you
will.
removed so much of it.
Oh, don't worry. They always come back.
Because I still think that there's something also about the way that you want to look, right? To some extent, yeah, I know, and what it means for you in terms of, like wearing your body the way that you want to. So I know that, like, it wasn't very common for me, when I was growing up to see women with armpit hair. It was like كتير لا don't do يعني. And then I met this person once who I wasn't in Lebanon, and I was like, and she was like, yeah, like people always look at my armpit hair, and I was like, it's hard the first time you see it to not look at it because it's so different. Because you're like, this is how it could grow. Like that thick, like, because you didn't even experiment with it that far to even know like it could go to that distance. And then she was saying, it's really strange, like armpit hair. She's like, I feel the same way about leg hair. So she had like this whole bush under her arm. She's like, but when I see leg hair, I'm like, what the fuck? And I was like, okay, I don't get that. That's really strange.
You have to know that you're going to the beach 2 days in advance, like not even the day before, because then it burns if it's the day before.
Yeah.
So like you have to know, like you have to plan your beach day, like it's just everyday thing. You have to always know. It's horrible.
And then you get your period. So and I once shaving my car on the way to the beach, like legs up on the thing. Like we're gonna get there. Like dashboard shaving.
Oh, that's fun.
Hey, ما هو إنه it's a fun story. So now then I can say, remember that time when we forgot, so we grabbed some razors and we drove out to Sur and we were like shaving in the car and trying to get on the road. Gotta get to the beach. Gonna die because I can't drive and shave. Yeah. Don't drive and shave, kids.
No.
It's not smart.
We can have sex stories and pubic hair.
Oh yeah.
I think it hurts when it's clean and like when there's no hair on your body and you have sex. It hurts. It grazes, and then I don't like that. So
true, man.
yeah, that's like my first really strong opinion about painful sex. Not fun. So, but it's like sexy. Like for the guy, it's always like they. I remember being shamed by my first boyfriend when I had hair on my body, and he was like, why don't you do it more often? And then I started to, and then I wouldn't tell him that it would hurt more. Then that relationship ended for other reasons, but now I think that it's also linked to like women not expressing their comforts, and like it's linked to how others police how you're supposed to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that goes for sex also.
So now maybe you want to tell a story.
Do you want to go first?
And I guess I only have one major point in my life. Like I used to only wax like the bikini line. I never tried like anything else. I was always very comfortable with my hair, but I used to do that, and so I started sleeping with that guy, and he was French, so I guess used to like whiter girls. And the first time we slept together, he saw the hair, and he was
Oh la la.
surprised. Let's just say surprised. And he was like, "Oh, okay, you have hair," and I'm like, "Yeah, like ready to fight, like." And he was like, "Oh, no, okay, it's fine," but he wasn't super comfortable with it, obviously. So I kind of got a little self-conscious about it because I saw that he wasn't comfortable with it. And then, so after a few times, we sleep together another time, and I hadn't waxed my hair, and it was like grown everywhere. All of it was here. And so he starts undressing me, and I'm like, sorry, like I have hair, and he was like, what? Like you always have hair? What the fuck?
You're like, no, I need to remove them.
Yeah, like I usually have less. No, and I was like, what? No, that's what you have. And I'm like, oh great, then I'm never removing it again. So like now it's like it's all here, and I don't care. I used to really like. I mean, he didn't see the difference. So.
Oh, I thought this was a conversation before he saw the difference.
No, he saw it.
He couldn't tell the difference.
And so I was like, okay, great. So if it's the same for him, then fuck it. And I just like that's the day that I realized that really men they're really not gonna notice if it's bikini line or if you remove like that patch of hair or if you or if you trim or if you don't trim. It's either there's hair or there's no hair for them. And so
I don't think so though. لا بفتكر في gradients. I don't think they'll find the difference between a bikini area remove and like a trim. Like I think like it's the fine details that we can suss out. Like ما بفتكر إنه فيهم يعرفوا. But I wonder like لا بلا إنه their face is gonna be in it. Obviously they're gonna have to know the difference. It's how much hair are you breathing? If one needs to ask.
Yeah, well, apparently, no, because I also trimmed, and he didn't. I mean,
لا that's weird. No, I mean you can tell, لا when you.
Well, he couldn't tell, so maybe I don't know. But that's the day that I was like, I'm just leaving it all. It's gonna be, and fuck it. And then I started to be a lot more like ready to, to fight if someone says a comment about it, Like, oh, you have a lot of hair. Fuck you!
I think من قبل كان عطول ما يكون في shaving من زمان كان إنه like عادي trend إنه بعدين طلع على line or like designs whatever.
the designs lightning letters.
Little heart.
So they feel proud of it somehow. then إنه لا بعدين خلص الترند صار إنه لا ما في شيء وكتير شيء عشان في بيتغير يعني مع الوقت.
فهلا الترند بفتكر واقف على بين مشي وبين إنه خفف شوي. And then there was a time يلي I think did we see this article يلي شو اسمه الفيجازلد أو شو بعرفني where إنه في stress إنه like على الفاجينا.
Oh my god.
No.
بلا Swarovski's part of it. No shock يعني shocking.
أو playboy.
Shocking. الأرنب الرابط إيه بس هو كانوا يحطوا ستراس على البوسي من برا ستاس like when it kind of became fast to put on your tooth.
Oh my god.
Come on man, where have you been?
I don't remember this.
Maybe it's repressing.
Maybe.
but there was a trend of doing design صح. That's so true. Maybe كمان dyeing it a color ولا I'm just thinking.
I remember having like blue hair dye.
Yeah, really? Nice.
Once.
Yeah, my friend does that now.
Blue?
Purple.
Purple?
Oh. Yeah.
Just on the down low?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so nice.
It's nice. But it's special dye for
really?
Yeah, so that it doesn't like
تعملها هون بلبنان؟
No.
بس تعملها هي
لا في واحد على سبيشال لهذا
إنه تبع الشعر ما بينحط تحت لأنه بيكون
it's too much.
Exactly. It's like it's.
That's gonna be.
But it dyes like black thick hair. Like that's what I don't understand. Like
You bleach it, no? Yeah, you bleach it.
Yeah, you bleach it, but isn't the bleach what's bad for your skin?
It's supposed to be.
I don't know.
But I've never dyed my hair, but I'm assuming when you dye, they bleach your hair first, then they dye.
Exactly. The color. So the bleach color. so the bleach. I mean, I don't know if you were talking about like bleaching your face hair and how much it burns. Like no, I don't want to burn my.
If you're gonna go blue on your vagina, you have to bleach, especially if your vagina has black hair. But if you're blonde, you can just dye it.
Yeah.
Does anybody really have blonde? Like, I mean, could it be like? I mean, if you've ever shaved or trimmed, it's always gonna get darker, even if you're blonde, no?
I've seen really thin pubic hair.
Thin or like
almost
thin
like baby hair.
Yeah.
في red hair.
red? I can believe. بس إنه بحس إنه every time you remove pubic hair, it comes back darker, لا? Doesn't
But if
it?
you're blonde and if all the hair is blonde, then
Maybe you never removed it.
Hey, I think maybe you've never removed it.
it would be like
If a white girl kept shaving, like Voldemort,
It falls before it becomes long.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. It has. Or else mine would.
Dreads.
I used to ask my mom if they were vagina hairdressers. Yeah.
La.
Especially when I first started getting pubic hair, I was like, so when are you taking me to the hairdresser?
It's cute على السشوار. Yeah, I'm like, do you like it in or out? Oh, damn.
Like
so cute. I'd like it out. Feeling wild today. And she didn't like. كان في dominatrix vibes شوي. كان في شوي. يلي هي 1, 2, 3 turn around. Okay, لا. It was nice. So actually 4 hits. The turnaround was another hit. And then there's always these conversations around like really like, you know, who's dating who, boyfriend trouble, I'm in reconstruction. You know, casual conversation. But it was nice, and I thought it was really like. And also, I know she's seen me in positions a lot of people haven't, because you know when you have to turn around, it's a really weird. I don't know.
Yeah, you have to like.
Get on your knees.
Yeah.
Head down, ass out. Honestly, and there's something. I feel like there's something intimate there, like in that position. Well, it's funny. It's cool, yeah. It's you know. Yeah, I think there's something that I like about that process, not the bending over completely, but I know that's you know that you could do that with a complete stranger and still have a really serious conversation about nothing that has to do with bending over. I'm fascinated. So I have this theory that about class and hygiene and self hygiene, I guess, like self grooming. يلي هي the richer you are, the less you touch your body. Like, the richer you are, the less you know how to do your hair. The richer you are, the less you know how to take out your body hair. The richer you are, the less you know how to apply your own makeup or to do your own nails or to fuck up your own nails. Because you're supposed to fuck up these things a billion times until you find your ritual. So, and I think that the richer you get, the more other people touch you. So I think, I know, because you don't, so كمان the less likely you're to check yourself for, on a health trip, the less likely you are to check yourself for like body cancer, like, you know, breast cancer, to check your, you know, to look at yourself in terms of like your vulva or heike, you know. I really think there's something about the more money you have, the more money distances your relationship with your body. And I've seen it through a lot of conversations and interviews I've had with a lot of women, and I'm always really surprised like that. مثلا, some women would say that they want to take medication and they'd say, oh, I'm never going to put medication vaginally, that's disgusting. And usually, ما بعرف, and it can't be a coincidence, but it's usually like women who are from like a higher, like more richer kind of upbringing and background. So ما بعرف.
So we have it from a colonial point of view, we have it from a class point of view.
Got it from a sexual and a paint your own pussy point of view. And the bleaching point of view, whiteness point of view. لا ظابطة. Now we've got the body hair all over.
We got so many points of views. Why not just go at it from capitalism?
يلا ليلى.
And how to remove body hair, you need all these products. So it's just constantly selling us stuff that we don't need, but they make it so attractive and sell a lifestyle. Which is like, kind of tricks you into like, oh, I need that.
What bothers me is that when I'm here, I have to buy a woman's razor. But they don't shave as well. But then I don't want the cashier to look at me weird, so then I just settle for the woman's razor. But I miss my men's razors because they really shave my neck hair because my neck hair is so fake. Whereas with the ladies' razor, I have to like go at it twice. Yeah.
Well, what's the difference between the two razors? Because I just like buy whatever.
The men's razors, sometimes they have more blades.
Triple blade.
Yeah.
They're
Whereas like the maximum for women is like 3, and I'm like, that's
yeah, they're made for the face, so they're also more like it's more sensitive. Like I use men's razors for my.
But they're the same, I think, and how they're made. They have 3 or 4 blades, and they have that green strip on top that makes things soft before.
But they're more flexible sometimes.
And then they get into the details of the men because they're more likely to use the razor more.
Just pink.
Usually, it's just pink.
and it's more, women's is more expensive.
Right.
Yeah,
Really?
the women كتير بتجي مش كتير قوية مثل تبع الشاب لأنه بيقولوا إنه ما عندها كتير
Right.
خفيفة ما بتجرح مثل هديك اللي بتكون حادة بس إنه مش هلا difference.
And they do all that stuff for sensitive skin for women, so they like added a lot more, like the green thing that you're talking about. Like, it gets in the way because it's like
It gets in the way of the razor.
yeah,
So,
because it's like women are more likely to bleed, whereas the men don't really care because they're rugged.
like Serena's growing up days. بس سكر مثلا you make at home لا انه مش سكر بينعمل بالبيت. هلا بيجيبوه كان في people had these like little tubs شو اسمه شمسة
ميم
يا ميم هو كمان هيك كان في واحد اسمه ميم.
Nice. Good name.
back in the day. بس هي كان يمط يعني كمان هو نفسه
the famous one it's
لا شمسة
كمان ميم
انت ميم كمان
حاطين الميكروويف.
ما كان في microwave مش used to boil it in a tub of water
yeah.
and like in a bowl and
Microwave.
بس I've never used that one تعرفي it wasn't really famous in the house كان في strips اللي you put in the freezer next to the meat. You know, after some time you lose sensation. Let's be honest.
لا every time بعمل سلك بيل كنت أعمل سلك بيل I just
Okay, but how long have you stopped?
Very long.
أكيد then. لا بس if you've been doing it since you've been 15, like I can have a conversation and like and I can't even feel the pain يعني. And then my heart races a little bit, but it's like, like but nothing really like scary. Like, if you keep ripping hair out of a certain area, it doesn't hurt anymore.
Man, like 7 years. I cry every time.
Is it the pain or is it the political?
No,
pain?
it's the pain. No, it's the pain.
It's an actual physical pain.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
end this with nipple hair.
Yes.
It's also
Never going to get any hair there, so when it started, I was like, is something wrong with me? Like, why is there hair coming out of my nipple? And then I went to my friends and went to an all-women's college, so there was this really interesting moment once where one of my friends was much later, another one of our friends comes in and she's just discovered like, can nipple hair grow really long? And she's like, okay guys, I think there's something wrong with it. Can you see it? Can you see it? Tell me if it's okay. And then it was just like, women just like comparing length.
nice.
Yeah. That's the story.
But I was thinking, I think women have had, women have part of women being healers and also having a knowledge of like medical sciences and health to healing, okay? That it's because we've had so much experimentation with our own bodies that, for example, that مثلا what a nipple that's been kind of cut looks like and how long it takes to heal. Like that's knowledge. That's really like that's information that most people can't really find anywhere. Now, yes, with Google, but generally like it wasn't a thing. So I think with hair removal, I was thinking we know like what are the conditions that مثلا make ingrown hairs, that make like infections in the hair, or why it is like if you remove مثلا with a razor that maybe you haven't cleaned or something that you didn't get a new one, that you're more likely. So then you have theories like, shit, I knew I shouldn't have done that because when I did, I didn't use the powder, I was sweaty. Like all that kind of stuff, that's hard science now that like dermatologists claim. But really like, Andrea, it's stuff that your mother told you growing up, like don't do this, don't do that because this was going to happen. It's not because they went and they paid money to see a doctor, it's because it's just stuff that you learn. So but I think it's really like, it is science. Like it's about germs and germ theory and infection precaution and all of that stuff. I find it really cool. I'd like to thank everybody for coming. وكمان انه like it's so cool to meet like new faces and new people and who now know so much about everybody. So instantly we're all friends. Great, so we'll share Facebooks and whatnot. Maybe like this was